Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
The Baltimore Ravens are going all in, trading for Raiders star pass rusher Maxx Crosby. Also, Jayson Tatum is back in the swing of things, and the Celtics are still on a roll. Plus, the Orlando Magic are making a run, but is it real?
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
The Ravens acquired pass rusher Maxx Crosby in a let's put all of our chips into the middle sort of move. Locked On Ravens host Kevin Ostreicher reacted in shock to Baltimore's blockbuster trade for one of the best defensive ends in the NFL.
I'm just like, okay, wow, it's go time. And for the Ravens, it is absolutely go time. As again, the news of Maxx Crosby, I can't believe it's real. I cannot believe it's real, but I'm so excited that it is. Want to tell everyone and remind everyone before we get into this, today's episode of Locked On Ravens is brought to you by Game Time. Down the Game Time at Crandon account and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Maxx Crosby to Baltimore. Whew. Man, 2 first rounders is the compensation. I think that's what everybody looked to first. It's, all right, the Ravens got Maxx Crosby. Oh, man, the Ravens got Maxx Crosby. But we knew how much of a price it was going to be to get Maxx Crosby on the team. 2 first rounders is a steep price to pay. And again, I said that, like, there are multiple avenues this could work out, but if Maxx Crosby comes to the Ravens, you're not going to hear me complaining, and I'm not complaining at all, because this, to me, signals such a shift in the mentality and the mindset of this organization from the complacency that we had for all of the John Harbaugh years and kind of not going all in and kind of making moves along the margins with maybe a bigger splash move here or there. The Ravens, this is something that is the biggest trade in franchise history. And the first time ever, I believe, I think Jamison Hensley put that out, if I'm not mistaken, the first time ever that the Ravens have traded a first in a deal like this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, using a first round pick to trade for a player. Now, Crosby is unreal. As we mentioned on the show for Locked On Ravens PM, he's never had a season below 7 sacks in his entire career. He is an incredible player, wide range of arsenal in terms of his pass rushing moves. There is so much to love about him and what he brings to the table. He is also widely durable in terms of not missing games. He'll have things that he's gotten banged up at times throughout seasons, and will have like many things that happen. But this is a situation apparently, and as we're getting new information on this, we'll continue to kind of, dive into it. But I can't believe this. The Ravens apparently outbid the Cowboys, who were offering a first and a second, but the Ravens went above and beyond, and they offered the 2 firsts, which is a ton to give up. This now gives the Ravens a pass rushing room on the outside of Maxx Crosby, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, and still move to maneuver around. Again, we mentioned it on Locked On Ravens PM. Because, again, that cap hit in Maxx Crosby's contract, that's something you would have to figure out, right? Well, Spelltrack is saying that, quote, if it comes to a head, a team acquiring Maxx Crosby will be able to process a simple salary conversion on his contract that will drop his acquired cap hit from $30.7 million down to $7.73 million. So essentially inconsequential in terms of the cap hit where you're really looking. And if that's what ends up happening, I don't know if we've even gotten any information or if we will get information on that as well. But we know that a Lamar Jackson extension or just freeing up the money is going to come down the pipeline, right? And that could free up anywhere from $20 million, $30 million, $40 million. The Ravens have avenues to spend here, but now you're going to do it in the form of a proven player instead of trying to build through the draft with your first round picks, and first round picks, especially pick 14. I mean, that is extremely, extremely valuable. But I guess, and we'll get into a little bit more of the particulars in the second part of the show, but I see the comment from I. Clark here that says, imagine what he does for Mike Green. He's going to free up everybody. I mean, and can you imagine if Nnamdi Madubuike comes back into the fold? I mean, you're going to have a ton. And again, I don't know if Nnamdi's coming back or not, but I'm just saying, like, imagine if he does. where you're going to have to deal with Maxx Crosby and Nnamdi Madubuike and in year 2, Mike Green, Travis Jones getting attention off of him, Tavius Robinson, who has improved as a pass rusher himself. And I don't think they're done. Now, I think this is the big splash move for them, so I don't think A.J. Brown's coming. I don't think any other big splash pass rusher is coming. Trey Hendrickson is off the board for them here, in my opinion. But you still have avenues to improve your offensive line when hopefully that Lamar deal does get done or Lamar, situation gets done. There's so much to look at in terms of the domino effects of this, both on the field and off of the field. But this was the guy that everybody wanted. And we had heard that report, even talking about it a few hours ago on Locked On Ravens PM. He was someone that was generating a ton of interest. And it honestly is really rare that a player of Maxx Crosby's caliber hits the market. It's not unprecedented. Plenty of guys have, but it is unprecedented for the Ravens to make a move like that. But it shows seriousness to me, right? I think that's all I wanted to see, especially just right after that Pittsburgh loss. If you watched that game with me on the watch along and you listened to my instant reaction after the show and just in the subsequent shows after the week and that game was over, I'm just like, I need to see that this team is serious.
Stay up to date all year on the Baltimore Ravens by subscribing to Locked On Ravens on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports today. Coming up, Jayson Tatum has officially returned. Before we get to that, the Vikings are the favorite to sign Kyler Murray, but does he move the needle in Minnesota? Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future and you'll be automatically entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. Not only can your pick cash, but it could also send you to the finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Reports indicate the Vikings are the favorites to land former Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, but he won't save the Vikings.
But if the Vikings see Kyler Murray as their number 1 option, that means Kevin O'Connell sees Kyler Murray as the number 1 option. Nobody else is making that decision. So I guess I'm just wrong about what Kevin O'Connell wants. And if he wants that, he can get it. So I would definitely give it a God's honest chance and then go back into some Kyler Murray film and try to get a more detailed analysis of what I would expect from him at this point in his career. Because it's been a while since that 2021 explosion. And I do think that he has grown worse as a passer, like innately, in ways that have nothing to do with what was going on around him in Arizona. And I want to check in on that take and make sure that that's really the case. And that the perception about supporting cast versus what Kyler Murray himself is doing is actually the truth.
Over in the NBA, Luka Doncic went into beast mode against the Knicks.
This is Danny Kamenetsky, co-host of the Locked On Lakers podcast. The Lakers get a 110-97 win over the Knicks in LA. LeBron James unable to play because of an elbow injury. And this is one of the best wins of the season for the Lakers and maybe their best defensive win of the season, period. The Lakers offense stalled out in the fourth quarter and they had to rely on stops and physicality and activity in order to prevent a comeback. Luka Doncic, who played very well on both ends, 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals. Austin Reeves, one of his best games in a while, 25 points, 5 assists, and 4 stocks. Marcus Smart, despite going 1 of 10 from the field, a team high plus 27 in the plus minus, had so many different plays where he was the tone setter or catalyst for big defensive moments, drawing fouls. He was huge in this game. A really good start for the Lakers as they are about to embark on a stretch of very difficult games. For more Lakers coverage, make sure you're watching Locked On Lakers on YouTube and listening wherever you get your podcasts.
Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo carried the Heat past the Pistons.
2 nights after beating the hottest team in the NBA, the Miami Heat beat the best team in the NBA, at least by record, beating the Pistons here on Sunday at Kaseya Center, 121-110, and it was Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero leading the way. Eric Spoelstra called them the cornerstones of the franchise after the Heat beat the Charlotte Hornets on Friday night, and they played like the cornerstones of the franchise in this one, anchoring a two-way effort over the team with the best record in the league. The Pistons were playing on the second night of back-to-back. We're keeping that in mind, and they looked like it. The Heat won this game in every facet, every area, in every way, in transition, on the boards. Defensively, they were better. They won the 50-50 balls. They out-hustled the Pistons. Probably to be expected from a Pistons team that was on the rest disadvantage there, but credit to the Heat, man. You got to give it to them. They have now strung together 4 straight wins for just the second time all season, and by the time the night ends, they could be in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. So look out. The Heat playing their best basketball of the season right now, maybe peaking at the right time. We'll have more on this win and what it means going forward over at Locked On Heat.
Jayson Tatum has returned for the Boston Celtics, and it has not been an issue at all. They are still running like a fine Swiss watch. They took down the Cleveland Cavaliers 109-98 in Cleveland on Sunday. John Corrales reacted to Jayson Tatum fitting right back in with the Celtics.
The Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. There was a little bit of a the Cavs pushed back for sure, and the Celtics were able to hold them off. They got a little bit of something from everybody. They got something from Baylor Shireman, which was an interesting moment there at halftime with Shaq that I'll get to in a second. They got something from Peyton Pritchard down the stretch. Jaylen Brown was huge. I'll get to him in a little bit. The second quarter was a really interesting kind of second quarter. That's where the game kind of flipped. But let's start where everybody wants to start right now, and it's Jayson Tatum, who played okay in 27 minutes. So it seems like 28 minutes is the minutes restriction. No one has officially said anything about a minutes restriction until Jayson Tatum, after the game, talking to reporters, was said, the toughest thing for me right now is the minutes restriction. I think he probably wants to play 34, 35 minutes. But it's obvious that he needs time to kind of work his way back in. He played a longer stretch than I expected in the first quarter, played almost 9 minutes, and looked good for most of those 9 minutes, right? 12 points, 4 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, a couple rebounds and an assist. Towards the end of it, he had a miss right before he subbed out that was very clearly short. Like, it was his shot looked a little bit more like he was trying to get it to the rim. It just looked a little bit more, oh my God, I'm tired. I got to make up for it somehow. And that all of this is fine. Like, all of it is fine. So he played the 9 minutes, and then he took a long rest, and he couldn't quite get his rhythm back. I don't know if that was because he was tired from the 9 minutes, if he was out of rhythm after playing 9 minutes and sitting for a while. He didn't get it back until the very end, where he got a very important layup, got to the rim, which was good. Nice to see him kind of getting downhill. I did have questions about how often he would drive, but it looks like he feels comfortable. And then he hit a 3. It was a great play where Pritchard was kind of trapped on the right sideline, right about the hash mark. He fights to keep possession. He gets the ball over to Neemias Queta. Queta takes one dribble, reads the defense, kicks it over to Tatum in the left. Right at the break, Tatum drills the 3, and that was basically it. It wasn't, I'm calling it a dagger 3, but it wasn't really the dagger, but it kind of was. So then that's when Tatum kind of like got back to himself a little bit. But like I said, he scored 12 points in the first quarter. He ended up with 20. So just 8 the rest of the way, 6 of 16, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So I'm going to say, obviously needs work. That's part of the rehab process. And look, I think one of my takeaways from these two games is that Tatum is answering, like, a lot of these questions about Tatum have been answered already. It took 2 games to get the answers to what we've been looking for. Obviously, there is more to be done. We know that the kind of integration with this team and getting the timing down on some of these plays, and it is a little bit of a different set of things that he's going to need to do, where he sets the picks. He's going to have to set more picks than he's used to. He's going to have to be part of that offense more so than he has in the past in terms of like setting the pin downs and, flipping the screens and doing, a couple more things off the ball. It's just a little bit of an adjustment there. Not a big deal at all, but still an adjustment nonetheless. And the kind of Jaylen Brown piece is going to be something that just needs a little bit of refining as we go through. This game was a little bit more kind of like my turn, your turn thing. I think maybe by design to get Tatum, like, okay, you're getting this the first quarter minutes. That let's get Tatum some of these opportunities early because he's fresh. Let's go. Let's work him in. Let's make this thing happen. And then Jaylen in the third quarter kind of was like, okay, this is my time. Not like in a bad way. It's just, I think they, by design, were letting, like, that's when Jaylen was going to start doing his thing. And in the third quarter, he was great in the third quarter, right? That's where the Celtics kind of were able to hold off another Cavs charge and build their lead out to its biggest point. And Jaylen was definitely a part of that third and fourth quarter. So I do think they're going to have to figure some of these things out as they go along. But you watch Jaylen on his Twitch stream the other day, and he was talking about, like, he seemed genuinely excited to be doing a little bit more off-ball stuff. And his, catch and shoot game there has been no catch and shoot game this year for him because he's been on the ball so much. So with Tatum back, I think getting some more catch and shoots is going to be a big deal for him. So that, I think, is something that still needs to be refined. I think refined is the best way to put it. Not figured out, not are they going to be able to do it. It's clear already that they will be able to figure whatever they do need to figure out. It's just a refining process because Tatum is nowhere near cardio-wise where he's going to be when he's fully back 100%.
Stay up to date all year on the Boston Celtics by subscribing to Locked On Celtics on your favorite podcast app. Coming up, the Magic are building momentum, but how legit is it? The Orlando Magic ended a 5-game winning streak for the Minnesota Timberwolves and made a statement in the process. They also happened to beat the brakes off the Giannis-less Milwaukee Bucks on Sunday. Locked On NBA host Gavin Shaw and Andy Kamenetsky discuss whether or not the Magic's recent surge into playoff contention is legitimate, or if their star power is too inefficient to carry the way in the postseason.
Only one place we can begin this, and that is the Orlando Magic. I think it would be hyperbolic to say a season-saving win, but a big one, I think, in a number of ways. Their third win in a row. All season long, they've struggled to put together a long stretch of wins. They haven't exactly accomplished that yet, but they are well on their way. And with the win, they jumped from 8th in the East all the way up to 6th. They are out of the play-in. They are just a game back of the Toronto Raptors. And all of a sudden, you could be talking about a scenario where Orlando is somewhat comfortable going forward in the East and would set up a very intriguing first-round matchup, likely against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, if I were them, I wouldn't exhale just quite yet because they're still statistically tied with the Heat, although they do have the tiebreaker over Miami, so that's good to have in hand. But, they still could get passed by Miami. They could, in theory, try to pass the Raptors. They're just a game behind them. But you hit on the main point, which is you want to stay in the top 6. You want to avoid the play-in, especially with what I think has been such, I'm guessing, a mentally exhausting season for the Magic. It has not gone the way that they had envisioned it, where I think a lot of people thought that they could be at minimum a top 4 seed in the East, maybe pushing for the top spot. They've had injuries all over the place. Paolo Banchero, though, in this game against the Wolves, 25, 15, and 3 assists in March. It's a small sample size, just 4 games, but he's averaging almost 26 points per game on 56% shooting, a shade over 9 rebounds, a shade under 5 assists. They need this version of Paolo Banchero if they're going to make sure at minimum they avoid the play-in. And then Desmond Bane, 30 points without a three-pointer. He was 10 of 10 from the line, and he hit 10 field goals, but none of them were from behind the arc. So those two guys led the way. And again, to your point, I don't know if it's season saving yet because there's still time to go, but this was a very big win for what they are trying to do down the stretch run of this season.
And finally, Victor Wembanyama is the best thing that could have happened to the NBA. On Friday night, the Spurs erased a 25-point deficit to beat the Clippers, 116-112. And Wembanyama led the charge with 27, 10, and 4 blocks, including the go-ahead dunk with 16 seconds left. He's been great, right? All season. After the game, the exhausted star admitted he was about to pass out, calling it one of the best wins of his basketball life. He is near tears in this moment. San Antonio has now gone an NBA best 14-1 since February 1st, and Wembanyama has been at the center of the surge. To see a superstar completely gassed after dragging his team back from the brink, so clearly invested in what is essentially a meaningless game in March. That's the type of energy this league needs as the NBA transitions to a new era, the Wemby era. Coming up, college basketball's postseason is officially upon us, and the madness is just around the corner. So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.